Welcome back to my channel, The NBA GOAT. In this video, I wanted to talk about the top 10 I consider the craziest NBA players in NBA history. Every sport and every league has its batch of players that are hard to understand, have done some really dumb stuff in their careers, and were just way different than everyone else. The craziness runs from a harmless, clown-like, good for a few laughs behavior to actually crazy and dangerous with criminal records. Some of these players and their interesting behaviors and lifestyles even deserved a reality show, in my opinion. I think one of them got it. Here are the top 10 I could think of that were some of the craziest players in the NBA history. Number 10, Reuben Patterson. Reuben Patterson was one of those players from the so-called Jailblazers that had many problems during his time in Portland that even included a fight with his then teammate Zach Randolph. According to a report in the Time magazine, Patterson was accused of an attempted rape of his kid's nanny in 2000. He entered a modified guilty plea, which means he didn't say he was guilty, but admitted there may be enough evidence to convince him in court. Number 9. Michael Ray Richardson. Michael Ray Richardson was a regular at getting banned from the NBA. Yet after reinstatement, he continued to have the same exact issues. In 1986, he was banned for failing a drug test 3 times. When his right to play was restored in 1988, he failed 2 more tests. Upon this happening, he played the race card, noting that Chris Mullin was never banned for his alcohol issues, though alcohol was not part of the drug policy. Number 8. Jason Williams. Jason Williams' legal issues were actually more serious than any probably on this list. His criminal trial seemed to last forever, and that perhaps adds to his craziness. The man was arrested for a DWI in 2010, and on top of that, was also charged with manslaughter after the death of a limousine driver which he supposedly accidentally shot back in 2002. And it was not only until 2010 that he finally got a prison sentence after a guilty plea for aggravated assault. Number 7. Shawn Kemp. If you Google Shawn Kemp, one of the first things that comes up under what people ask about Shawn Kemp is how many children did Shawn Kemp have? The answer to that question, from what is known, Shawn Kemp has 7 children with 6 different women. The man also pled guilty to a drug possession charge, and that helped him get on my list. Number 6. Gilbert Arenas. On December 21, 2009, Arenas infamously brought unloaded guns into the Washington Wizards locker room and dared teammate Javaris Crittenton to shoot him. The incident came after arguments erupted from a $1,100 bet from a card game between Wizards teammates JaVale McGee and Crittenton. Arenas was not part of that bet. Arenas was suspended for 50 games and labeled mentally unstable. As I'm going through this list, please consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel so I can provide more great content in the future. Let's continue. Number 5. Vernon Maxwell. Mad Max was true to his name both on the court and off. On the court, he was named that for his clutch 3-point shooting, especially during his time with Houston. Off the court, he was suspended for 10 games after running in the stands to punch a fan. He's been arrested for failing to pay child support, and he was ordered to pay a woman that he infected with herpes. Number 4. John Brisco. John Brisco was easily the ABA's resident crazy person. I had to mention this guy because this story was kind of crazy. He provoked fights all the time, and according to Terry Pluto in his book, if you say something wrong to the guy, you had this feeling he would reach into his bag, take out a gun, and shoot you. His reputation was such that he may have been invited to Uganda by Idi Amin in 1978. No one really knows why he went there or what happened, as he was never seen again after that. John Brisco didn't take shit from anyone. Those who got in his way realized they were a lot better off walking and trying to stand their ground. Brisco came out of the Detroit projects and lived by no one's rules. He was kicked off the University of Toledo varsity hoops team for insubordination, but stuck around to play tuba in the band. He tore up the American Basketball Association with the Pittsburgh Condors in the early 70s, inciting street fights with the league's toughest and taking a gun courtside in the gym bag. Number 3. Ron Artest, who can get himself suspended for virtually an entire season for having started a major brawl. Ron Artest can. He also openly admits to having a wild personality, and it comes out on his competitiveness on the court. He was placed in jail and was suspended in 2007 for a domestic violence charge as well, so the attitude was apparently not limited to the court. Number 2. Latrell Sprewell. Let's see. The guy choked his own coach, PJ Carlesimo, in 1997. He had other problems on the Warriors, such as returning to the practice court after an argument with a teammate with a 2x4. We can't also forget that he turned down a $7 million a year deal from the Minnesota Timberwolves by noting that it was not enough and he had a family to feed. That might be the craziest quote of the entire list. Number 1. Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman was a rebounding machine. His rebounding ability is only rivaled by the craziness of his ever-changing hairstyles. He had cheetah print, a smiley face, slime green, and a relatively muted bleach blonde. In 1996, Rodman came out as bisexual, a big step for any person, let alone a professional athlete. Underlining his announcement, he decided to marry himself, wearing a big white wedding dress. Out of self-love, but also a part of the promotional tour for his autobiography, Bad As I Wanna Be. Rodman also dated Madonna and has a cozy relationship with the North Korean dictator, Kim Jong-un. That will be all 10 of the craziest NBA players I was able to come up with. There are many more like J.R. Smith, Steven Jackson, Wilt Chamberlain, Stephen Marbury, Rasheed Wallace, Bonzi Wells, and many, many more. The NBA is a very colorful league, you could say, and I hopefully get back into this topic in another video. Thank you for watching, and please look at these other videos from my channel that might interest you.